What's up, y'all? This is Will here at Schedule Fly, and I feel a lot better than I sound. I'm losing my voice. We got something we've been passing around, but luckily I had a better voice this morning, and that's a good thing because we had a phenomenal conversation this morning for the podcast. I spoke with Brian and Chris Cartenuto. They're up in New York. They have a restaurant. These guys are brothers. They have a restaurant called Bird Dog. Been open about a year. They've both been in the business for a long time. They've been in Florida. I know Brian was out in Seattle for a while. They've been a Schedule Fly customer for a long time too, and so we appreciate that. But boy, do they have a cool story to tell, and it was just very interesting learning about what they're trying to do in terms of. Well, let me just read something off their website because this really caught my attention when I was preparing for this, and we dove pretty deep on this. And it talks about what they're trying to do there. One of the things that they're trying to do, in addition to obviously offering phenomenal food and great service, but this is on their website, birddognyc.com. This is part of this section called Need to Know, and it says, quote, "We're on a mission to change the culture of restaurants for the better. Our team is made up of experts and artisans dedicated to their craft, and they deserve to be paid a fair wage, to have access to health care, to mental health professionals, and continuing education. Our business model has those things baked in because now more than ever, restaurant jobs should be good jobs. Every meal you order from us helps make that possible," end quote. Well, we got into that and what that means to the team and what that means to the customer. And it was a fascinating conversation. And we talked about a lot of other stuff too, but I really have a lot of respect for the way these guys are approaching this. And it was a phenomenal conversation. So you will enjoy this episode. Before we dive into it, this episode is sponsored by us here at Schedule Fly. If you are on pencil and paper or you're on Excel, and we know you're out there because there's still tens of thousands of restaurants that are on something other than a scheduling software. If it works for you, great. But if it's causing any problems, if people miss shifts, if there's miscommunication, drop balls, or it just takes a long time to create a schedule, and then you have to go make all these changes once you've created it, and then more changes. Any of those things, if scheduling and communication is not clean and simple and easy, then you should check out Schedule Fly. We've been doing this 15 years. We serve 6,000 restaurants, bars, distilleries, breweries, hospitality businesses, boutique hotels, ice cream shops, coffee shops. And we provide a very simple restaurant, hospitality, employee scheduling software, and we back it up with phenomenal customer support. That's our business model. 15 years of doing it. We got about 6,000 customers. We've grown through word of mouth. If your restaurant or your hospitality business fits any of those circumstances that I mentioned, head to schedulefly.com. There's a 30-day free trial. My cell phone number is right there on the trial sign-up page, and you're welcome to call or text. I'm happy to rap with you about what we do, see if it might be a good fit for you. On the flip side of that, if you're paying for some expensive scheduling software and you're paying hundreds of dollars a month and there's a bunch of stuff you don't need and don't use, or you don't get great service when you need it, we'd love to earn your business too. So schedulefly.com, 30-day free trial, no credit card on the front end, no contracts, no setup fees, no cancellation fees, no other fees, no nickel and diamond. We keep it simple and we take good care of you. Our other sponsor is Flip Financial. FLYP. So go to flipmoney.com or check out Flip in the App Store. This is an extremely cool business. We know these guys and we're super proud to have this relationship with them. So they have a online banking platform. You get a checking account and you get a debit card. That's for now, and there's more products coming soon. But to keep it simple for now, you sign up for Flip, you get your checking account, you get your debit card. There's no minimum balance in your checking account. There's no ATM fees at 37,000 ATMs around the country. They're not nickel and diming you looking for fees unfortunately, like most banks do these days. what you get also is with your debit card, you get rewards. So while most credit cards, or I guess almost all credit cards now have rewards, I get airline miles on mine. My debit card doesn't, except for my flip card does, and I do have a flip card. When you spend money on your flip card, you spin the flip wheel on your app. It's gamified, right? It's like a Wheel of Fortune type thing. You spin it, and then you might win 1% cash back, 2%, 5%, 10%, 50%, 110%. You can get up to 110% cash back. If you don't win cash back, you can get flip coins. You compile those, and they can be used for various types of things. So it's really cool. And I will say this. We've had a lot of Schedule Fly customers sign up for Flip, and they've been really happy with it. And I can say that one of our customers recently won 100% cash back on a purchase. Another customer won 23% cash back. Obviously, it's much more rare to get 100 or 110%, but it happens. We've had the 100% and 23% just in the month of October. But even if you're getting, 3%, 5%, this is cash back, right? So all you have to do is, in fact, you can get $20 from them for free. So all you do is you go to the App Store, you look for the Flip app, FLYP, Flip Money, and fund that sucker. If you spend $100 in the first 30 days, they're going to give you $20. And that's it. Easy. Just use this promo code ScheduleFly. Promo code ScheduleFly. Pop that thing in there. Spend $100 first 30 days. There's 20 on the house. And spin that wheel every time, and you might win some cool stuff. So check them out. And back to this episode, we're going to kick it off right here. Brian and Chris, these are great guys. They take great care of their team. It's a fascinating conversation. Thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am absolutely going to Bird Dog the next time I get up to New York. And as I told them, this gives me even more incentive. So this is cool. Y'all check it out. More episodes coming soon. See ya. Brian, if you want to introduce yourself first, and then Chris, and then we can dive right into what you were just about to say.
Hi, I'm Brian Cartenuto, the owner of Bird Dog here in the West Village of Manhattan. We've been open for about a year now. All in all, this is my 11th restaurant. First in New York City. At one point, I had 6 in Seattle, 6 in Florida and 4 in Seattle. My brother was my business partner in the Florida restaurants. And now we're here in Manhattan kind of doing our thing.
Hey y'all, I'm Chris, and like Brian said, I'm the brother that comes along for the ride. I'm a recovering restaurateur. Now I work for Brian in this Bird Dog adventure. Trying to change the face of the restaurant business, one piece of pasta at a time, I guess. That's what we're doing these days. Well, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks for being here, guys. And Brian, I want you to, we were just talking about family, and you have an 8-month-old daughter. So I want you to, I want you to share about that. And then I love your website and what you say on your website. I have so many questions to ask you guys, but folks that are listening here, we just have been talking about children, and Brian has an 8-month-old daughter, and we were talking about how, meaningful that is. I have 3 kids, and my daughter kind of is already off in college. So Brian is fortunate to have a young, beautiful, healthy, happy 8-month-old, which is awesome. And then somehow he's able to also run a restaurant in New York City. So I'm super curious about that. But yeah. Well, so first, congratulations on having her.
Chris is also an uncle too. He gets to be Uncle Chris. So, really, when we started Bird Dog, really it was this whole, I had left my previous restaurant because I was really just wanted to have a life-work balance. So it was really kind of when I moved to New York City, that was very important to me to have this life-work balance. And then of course, the pandemic happened. I had actually left my restaurant the Sunday before the pandemic was my last day scheduled. And then the Wednesday after, the world shut down. And it really was, I was about to open up another restaurant. And one of my investors was like, why don't we just kind of wait out, this kind of flu going around, see what happens. And lo and behold, that was, summer, it was March 2020. So the pandemic, I think, shed a light on a lot of things. I'm sure in your industry you saw it in the software and the AI and the scheduling and all that kind of stuff. And then we saw it as well. I mean, I was here in New York City. Chris was down in Florida with our Florida restaurants, where almost the pandemic, in essentially, quote unquote, didn't happen. Or if it did, it happened for like a month. And so like, I already had this shift of like workers. The restaurants need to have this life work balance, and then it's quickly like went like from like this thing like that, and then like shift and then shift, because restaurant jobs are good jobs. The people who work at them are phenomenal people, and we need to continue saying that over and over again, so that they need to be treated like the humans that they are. Livable wage, access to healthcare, access to mental health care. These things are to me, and what we do here at Bird Dog are very fundamental baseline. Everyone gets it. Like that's what it happens. So that's how that was the ethos of the human element of the restaurants, is what I think is missing. For the longest time, we were always all about, I get this one apple from a orchard on a west side mountain with the sun only comes in below the fog line, and like the story about the freaking apple is so just like oh my god, and this pressure apple, but they give two shits about the person who picked it and the person who cooked it and the person who delivered it. Like all that matters, so the story of that didn't matter to a lot of people. So now what I'm trying to do, and with my brother, which to be honest with you, Chris hasn't always bought into this, and it has been, as two restaurateurs who were business partners, brothers. We're on opposite sides sometimes on this discussion, and it's like my most important thing right now. Of course, I have a daughter. Is my family. And you hear that, but like I've heard that for years from other business partners. And when you finally are like, okay, I get it now. Like I get it. My main thing is like, I want to work really hard, but I also want to be there for bedtime. That's like right now, like that's very important to me. Yeah. So I work really hard in the morning, in the afternoons. At 5:30, I'm very fortunate to go home and relieve childcare, and then do that. But that's like if I at the top of the pyramid, and I also believe in this reverse pyramid, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but like the servers, the front of the house is the most important because they have the most guest interaction. Then it's the kitchen, and then it's the support staff, and then I'm all the way at the bottom of this. Like I may be the owner, I may be the top of the pyramid, but Chris would even tell me I'm like a bull in a china shop sometimes with these customers, because I'm so much about the customer. And like if I at the pyramid at the top, the owner I'm not saying the example, taking time off, going on vacation, working paying livable wages, then how can you as the cook or the porter, the server, the management, not be like, oh well, Ryan's not doing it, so I don't think I should. Well, no, take your time off. We have unlimited PTO for managers. Everyone gets, so just these benefits to make you feel like a human. If you can take care of the basic needs of humans, such as do I have clean clothes? Is my rent paid? Do I have food on the table? And you don't have to worry about like, oh, I missed a day. My porter hurt himself, and didn't. I was like, Freddie, you're off. You have X amount of dollars or X amount of hours accrued. You want? He goes, I didn't know that I had that. I go, well, you do, use it. And so he was able to recoup himself from his injury, and then still get paid his weekly salary because of that. And that's very important to me.
Well, Brian, I want to hear your thoughts on this. I have some. If you guys are not always on the same page, I might have some ideas of why, but I'd love to hear what you had to say. But before you do, I want y'all to see. There's. If you got a
bird dog right there.
She's a good one. She came over to say hello. All right. Well, Brian, tell me, what does that mean? You guys are not always on the same page about that. What does that mean?
Chris, why don't you answer that?
I mean, Chris, I'm sorry.
Sure. Yeah, no worries. I'm a old school restaurant guy. Always will be, I'm a guest focused, type of leader. And with the staff in mind as well. You know, a mentor I had in the restaurant business when I worked corporate restaurants, you know, always had that mentality of the customer comes second. You know, still take care of your staff, give them the tools they need, and then I don't have to worry about the customers because they're going to do what they need to do. On the flip side of that, though, is I'm also the customer doesn't care, honestly, about what's going on in our lives. When they come and sit at the table, it doesn't matter if I just won the lottery or, you know, I just had a baby or my dog got hit by a car or my grandpa died. They don't care. They're there for their sandwich, their pasta, their salad. They want their experience. They're going to give me their money and they're going to leave. It's real life. You know, we always say, you know, I'm so worried about what other people are thinking about me. We don't care. Even on this Zoom, I normally cover my face whenever I'm doing a Zoom because I'm going to look and see how I look. Am I looking at the camera? Is there something in the background that's not focused in? Because we're worried about ourselves first. And that's just human nature. And I tend to go in that direction of all of these little things don't matter to the guest. They do more than I always thought. So we're able to, you know, by having, like you said, you saw it on the website of the mission and the vision of what Brian's created. We hear about it all the time. People think it's a great idea. The key to it is putting it into practice and making it work. And still, on my side, are the dollars making sense? You know, we want to have this great thing of, you know, after you've been with us for a year, Brian's going to buy you kitchen shoes. Okay, great. Are you putting in the work? Are you doing all the little detail things to make it worthwhile? So as me as Joe employee, is respecting the process as well, or am I just in it for the free pair of shoes? Am I in it because it sounds like a great job, but if something else better comes up tomorrow, I'm going to dip out. And maybe it's the skeptic in me because, you know, when you do this for so long, you start to get the same things over and over, and you hear of the roses and you hear of the great things, and you don't believe in them. Who knows? But by seeing that these ideas are being put into practice, it makes more sense, and it makes me a believer, and I can support it and still be the hardworking, overworking person. That's my nature. You know, Brian's the family man now. I'm the older, single, crazy uncle that doesn't mind working, you know, 50, 60, 70 hours a week because I like to do it. And that's just the way I am. But then understanding that, you know, you want to have your version of work-life balance. That's great. So it's been an adventure in the last, you know, 9-10 months for me to get on board. And it's a good thing. And I think that it's going to, you know, help change things slowly. It's a big industry. I mean, there's almost 31,000 restaurants in the city of New York. It would take you something like 28 years to get to every restaurant in this city. And it's going to take 2-3 times as long for any major changes to happen. But, you know, you can't create that ripple effect unless you get that first drop in the bucket. And that's what I think he's trying to create.
Wow, guys, I love this so much because you've got two different perspectives that are coming together to build something that works on both sides. And I think you're ahead of the curve. And I think that's awesome because the industry really does. There's so many good fundamental changes happening, I think, in the industry. And yes, as a guest, I don't necessarily care for you to tell me about, you know, whatever. Like, I mean, maybe I do. Like, maybe I ask. Like, as a guest, I actually do. I like to, but a lot of guests don't. So then you got to have the server has to understand, like, okay, read the customer. Like, man, this customer is like just wants to do their thing. Like, you got to know that. You have to understand that.
You may have empathy for them. Like, you're like, how's your day? Oh, my day's not doing much well. Oh, that really sucks. I hope it gets better. Can you please get me my pasta? Like, here's my order. You may tip an extra $1, but like in the grand things, I think we all have empathy. But like, I think you and I are a lot alike in that. It's like, yeah, I'm going to ask, and I really do care for that moment, but then it comes down to like, why am I here? It's transactional.
That's right. I totally agree with that. But I'm going to read your website right now, because I think also a lot of people, one of the things that happened during COVID as well is I think a lot of people, when all their favorite local restaurants were shut down, like they weren't worried about the chain, whatever. Like they're not like, oh gosh, my favorite chain, but like their favorite local independent restaurant shut down. They're like, this sucks. Like this is no good. And so they started thinking a little bit more about like, okay, well, hey, we need to support them. And then when you start paying more attention as a consumer, as a guest, to where you dine and why do you dine there, it is, I agree, but it's not the story about the apple that was grown on this hill. Like that's not as meaningful. But what y'all are doing, I'm going to read this. To me, like I read this, I'm like, dude, I want to dine there. Like this makes me want to dine there because of the way they feel about their team of people, of human beings. It matters. So I'm going to read this. Okay. Bird Dog is a Southern restaurant focusing on handmade pasta. Located in the heart of New York City's West Village, we are a small and intimate restaurant that is great for everyday and special occasions. We're on a mission to change the culture of restaurants for the better. Check. That's me, our team is made up of experts and artisans dedicated to their craft, and they deserve to be paid a fair wage, to have access to healthcare, to mental health professionals, and continuing education. Our business model has those things baked in because now more than ever, restaurant jobs should be good jobs. Every meal you order from us helps make that possible. Dude, sign me up, man. Like as a consumer that is intentional and thoughtful, I am all freaking over that. Like I'm in. You got me. I love it, guys. I think that's
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because you're in, and we get your enthusiasm a lot. And this is something like that Chris and I have differed on, but I think he understands where I'm coming from. You make a reservation. You're all about it. You're here, you're there. And then something happens in life, as life does. And we have a cancellation policy. If you don't give us notice within 6 hours, it's a $65 per person cancellation fee. If you got charged $65, so there's the two tops, you got charged $130 for not being able to come to your restaurant, would you still feel the same thing about that mission statement? Because, we're here, this part of that $65 goes to the staff for lost wages and tips, and then it helps keep the business alive. But I mean, we're 18 seats here. I mean, like, we're not in the South. We're 18 seats, 400 and something square feet. Half of that's the kitchen, half of that's there, super small. So like when someone cancels, it means a lot to us. So as a consumer who's intentional, does that, we saw it, Chris and I saw it today on some reviews. I would make a reservation because of that policy. But there it is. Well, how do you feel about that?
Well, look, okay. It's a great question. I mean, first of all, you're making it clear to them when they make the reservation that that's the deal. So if I'm going to sign up for that, as long as I know that, but I'm all about personal accountability and responsibility, like to the nth degree. So I'm like, dude, we knew that. We made it's the same with like making but this is like making a hotel reservation. In fact, we literally just made one for something over Thanksgiving. I'm like, we have a certain time that we can cancel before this time. So if we don't, like, we're going to have to eat that. Like, I know it, that's the deal. Maybe so in this situation, you want, 6 hours. It's not like you're saying like, you got to make it within 24 hours. I'm all down with that because I do support that. And I think it's, like it's on me, like something came up, whatever. You guys if I understand the business, I understand that's, it was very clear to me, in addition to the fact that like, dude, I live in New York City. It's 18 seats. Like, God bless. Like, yes, you should get that money. Now, maybe you can hedge. Like maybe there's a hedge where you go, I don't know, like I'll pay this amount up front in case I have to cancel or something. Like I'll pay $20.
So a lot of times, the thing about it, what I'm trying to get at is like people care until it actually affects them. So people are all about like, I'm all for helping the homeless. oh wait, you want to put a shelter in my neighborhood? Forget that. Not going to happen. What's going to happen in my neighborhood? So
NIMBY.
people care. People care until it's actually in front of them. And then once it's in front of them, they're like, oh, whoa, I didn't think this is actually a real thing. Like, so it's also changing that culture, and that's also like, and teaching and being holding your boundaries. I think we all are in relationships, and whether it be our family, our significant others, our partners, or however, like, you have boundaries and you got to set them and you got to hold true to them. And that's kind of also the other thing that we're teaching ourselves in this industry is like, Chris wants Thursdays and Fridays off, or whatever days he wants off. He gets them. Because that's what it's about. Those are the boundaries he's asked for. And, and we keep that. We ask for, when you make the reservation, it helps us out. And when you don't show up, it doesn't have to, and that's it. So it's not also changing us. It's also changing, having to understand the customer dynamic and teaching them. I need to step away real quick. My child care is calling, so give me 1 second.
Go for it. Yeah. It's not right.
For sure. And that's that mentality, like he was talking about, that boundaries and limits is, we as a culture, and I went to the International Pizza Expo one year and was listening to a speaker there talking about couponing and discounts. And there's a discount culture. And if I don't have a coupon, then I'm not going to go eat there. Okay, fine. There's a lot of places that I won't go to without the deal. I'm not doing it. That's, we all have those moments, and we're all looking for a great deal all the time. But so by setting the rules, and all rules have, wiggle room. There's ways we can make things happen, but setting boundaries, setting limits, making people understand that this is the way life is. This is the way our business model is. This is the way, if you run the red light, you're still going to get the ticket. It doesn't matter why. You broke the rule, you're going to get the ticket. Changing that thought process allows us to, take a portion of it to take care of that mission statement originally. And people realize that it's a true thing where we are working towards making that change to take care of restaurant employees, and that mentality where if I don't have to worry about the fact that I need my Metro card, New York City, everybody takes the train. If I've got my Metro card, I can make it to work. That's one less stressor. I'm more willing to go to work because it's easier for me. And my boss is going to take care of me because my friend got sick and I can go and help because the rest of the team is going to jump in and help. All those things, those boundaries help set those expectations, and we're able to honor them with that mission statement as the driving force behind it all. If that makes sense.
Some of these things that we're trying to change is like, Chris is the most senior employee in the front of the house, and then we have Anthony, and then we have other folks. So by theory, they get the good shifts. But what happens is like, well, you get someone new in who has to work Saturdays or Sundays or Mondays and Tuesdays, and the money isn't that good. And we're such a small house. So what the creative solution we came with as a thing is like, well, here's the thing. It's just as important to work Monday, Tuesday as it is Friday and Saturday. So this house, we're afforded to be able to pool all the tips for the week, and it's based off the hours you work is then the tip hour. So you have 1,000, say you have $7,000 in tips, this week, there's 100 X hours worked. So each hour you worked is worth $70. So that's now, so it puts in the mentality, like, I don't care what day I work. I'm going to work hard. I have no problem working on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or whatever, or Monday, or a brunch shift per se. We don't do brunch, but the less desirable shifts in servers' minds, because I'm going to get paid the same as if I worked on a Friday, Saturday. And that helps also stem or curb the thinking of that mentality of servers. And in the back of the house, we did the same thing in a way of like, when I went to paternity leave, my chef was awesome. But then unfortunately, when I came back, he had some medical issues. He had to leave. He had to take care of that. Totally understandable. Had to find some new chefs, and we had 2 people who stayed and 2 people who were new. And the 2 people who stayed were making about 21, 22 an hour. The 2 people who came asked for 24 an hour. Sure, no problem. We can afford that. Yeah, we got you. But what I did was take the 2 who were here and brought them up to $24 an hour because I couldn't in good faith say we're about the employee. And Will, you've been here for 6 months. Chris, you just came. You get and Chris, because you asked for it, we can afford it. So let's put everyone at the same, because we all know we talk this, we can afford it. So that's what it is. So and rising tide will make the ship rise, and we all go together. So that's that same mentality. Making them feel like you are worth it. You are what you do here, whether you work a Friday or a Thursday or a Sunday, you're the porter or you're the sous chef or the executive chef or whatever you are, you're important to the mission of what we do here. And we're going to pay you properly. We're going to give you time off and all those things to make you feel like a human. And that's yet again, and then getting the customer involved. All in all, and we haven't talked about this once, we haven't said this once, while serving phenomenal homemade pasta and fried chicken. So we have this mission and what we're doing in the human element, but the vessel is a ravioli. The vessel is rigatoni pasta. The vessel is fried chicken. That's the vessel. And so to be able to do this is very important to us.
You're at a time when it's been super hard to find and keep good people. People realize during COVID they have other options. So I feel like you guys are, the industry, I just feel like the industry has to move in this direction and think this way. I think those that plant their feet and won't change, people know they have options now. They're going to find something different. To me, when I listen to that, if I'm, if I would say to like my kids as they're coming up, I have my son, he's 15, he worked in a restaurant and stuff, like that's the kind of person I'd want my kids to work for. And there's also responsibility, I would imagine, that becomes, when you draw those boundaries that are very clear and you stick to them, you're going to attract people that get it and understand that. And that's both employees and customers, by the way. And you're going to repel those that don't, but good. Like, that's a good thing. That's a good thing we've done that at Schedule Fly for years and years now. We've said, like, we're here to serve independent restaurants, people that like have specific set of needs, that like simplicity and all this kind of stuff. And if you need all this other stuff, like, we don't do that. And we don't want to do that. Like, there's other options, like go to them, because you'll be happy there. The people that come here will be happy here. Everybody's good. And
we've been using you for how long between our restaurant? We started with you guys in 15 years now.
Yeah.
Ish. Between our restaurants, from Joey Tomatoes to Tucker Duke's to whatever, we've been with you because of you. Your mission is always aligned at Schedule Fly of what we as restaurateurs, as we grow, you've grown with us. So we started with Square at Tucker Duke's years ago when it was literally just like a register. Now if you look at Square, it's so robust in what it is and what it's. We've grown with it because it's grown to what we need, and they listen to us as the consumer, just as you have at Schedule Fly. Listen to us as a consumer, what we need, and grown with the industry. If you would have seen me, if you would have talked to me, or even look at Facebook posts, which I delete them when I read them, when they come up. If you would look at old social media posts of me railing against $15 an hour minimum wage, railing against it, fuck that, this is horrible, everything's been right. But then when you finally see it, you're like, huh. And I'll say this to Chris, and it's true to me. Chris is always about, like, I need money. He's that typical front of the house employees. I need more shifts. I need to work. I need money. Chris had to move to the most expensive city in the world to make money and to have a life and to do his hobbies. Chris, he does pretty well. Does very well. Right? He lives by himself. He has a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City. It's Queens, but he has 2-bedroom apartments. But like, he also gets to take. He also has he got to revisit his love of ballet or ballroom dancing. So he gets to take ballroom dancing, which is by no means a cheap hobby. Like, it's cost money. So he's happy he gets to do these things. He gets to work hard at the restaurant. I get to have my brother and my best friend, my old business partner, do the things he used to do, but also he also be like, it's not my monkey. Go talk to the monkey's owner. He's my brother. He'll deal with it, and he gets to go cha-cha and smooth and slide and do that kind of thing and have this life. And that's the most important, because he is happier here than I've ever seen him working with him for the past, since 2008, I think is when we really started to work with each other. So in 12 to 14 years, I've seen him happier this past year, not only because of the money, let's put that aside, but because he gets to do what he wants to do. And I want all my employees to be able to do that.
I want to hear about this ballroom dancing, man. Tell me
His
about
hips don't lie.
It's it's a great hobby. Started way back when Emmett Smith decided to jump on Dancing with the Stars, and I figured if that big old football player can do this, so can I. And Brian's right; it's an expensive hobby and it's fun. Before moving here and getting involved with Bird Dog and figuring out this concept of taking care of employees and working as much as I want, I was working from Labor Day to Thanksgiving before I moved here every single day, 7 days a week, from 9 a.m. till 10 o'clock at night. As many restaurant owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, family restaurants have to do. It's part of the business right now. And there's a lot of times no getting around it because, like you said, employees have other options. People have other things they want to do. There's, national average in restaurant business, 200% turnover every year. And it has been for a long time. But because of the culture that Brian and our team has created, I say now that I've got the best 40-hour part-time job I've ever had, and I can do a hobby. And we're 2 weeks away, maybe 10 days away from my first competition, where I'll be competing nationally against other studios in the Waltz, Tango, and Foxtrot. So it's going to be an adventure. I'm not quite at Emmett Smith's level yet, but those sequin shoes, I've got them coming.
Man, that is awesome. Congratulations. What a cool thing to be able to have that balance and to do something that you really are passionate about and compete in that. That's freaking awesome. Oh,
and it's great because it lets me release the work stress.
Yeah.
Have fun. And then, when I come back, it's all right, let's sling some noodles, fry some chicken, and take care of some people, and then rinse and repeat and do it and have a good time and make it happen.
Well, let me ask y'all this, because you mentioned the food a minute ago, Brian. I live in North Carolina. I've been here my whole life. So all of what you're cooking is right up in my wheelhouse. What made y'all decide to, take that to Manhattan? And
I was living in Manhattan, and I think for me, it's like, the funny thing is I'm the Southern boy in the family because I'm the only one born in the South. Chris is born up here in the Northeast, Jersey. But I say that this is really the truest sense of who I am as a person, as a chef, period. Like, this is who I am. This is like, I am Southern. I'm a New Yorker. I'm a city person. I'm Italian. This is me. Couple things. Like, when you're in this little site, you're in our dining room. You're in our house. Welcome you. But also, like, we do family dinner every Sunday. When Grace was born, the big thing we wanted to teach her was family dinner. So we do family dinner every Sunday. And family is just more than Chris and my mom and my dad and my in-laws. That's more than family. It's her godmother. It's our best friends. Those are your chosen family who you also. But also, what we wanted to teach Grace, and yes, she's 5 months. She's been doing it for the past 8 months. She's just now hanging out and eating off the table. But the whole theory is we want to do this, a couple things. It makes us all feel better, like ending the week / beginning the week with our friends and not worried about the Sunday scaries and what we're going to go for the week. But also it teaches Grace, and what we're trying to do is there's always room for one more at the table, literally and figuratively. Like, be inclusive. Bring everyone in, no matter all walks of life. We invite people over, like customers. A customer will become a friend before a friend will become a customer. I do wholly believe in that one. And that's the thing about it. It's like, so we have this like family dinner, to teach Grace this, but also for us to be able to, at the end of the week or the beginning of the week, wherever you want to put it that Sunday, is for us to see each other and talk about each other and hang out with each other. And that's kind of like what we embody also here in Bird Dog is you're at our table. We're going to say hi. We're going to kind of know how you are, how you doing it, give you that like spiel, but like, and that's the one thing great thing about New York, which I love over the South, is here in New York City, you can sit someone next to a bar or at a table, have the most in-depth, truest, down-to-earth conversation with someone, and it's going to be amazing. And you're going to be like, oh my God, that was awesome. But here's the other, you're never going to see them again because it's New York City and there's 9 million people here. In the South, you can have that, but sometimes the South does get that persona of, do they really mean it? Like, they just said bless it. Like, oh, okay. So here it's just melding the best of both, and also some of the bad of both too, and having to do it here. So that's really what Bird Dog was about, was also like, yeah, so employees are culture mantra number one. Number two is then, awesome food, Southern cuisine, handmade pasta, because I mean, those are the two things about what I love. And then three is you're dining in our house. I mean, if you were here right now, like, you can't really see it, but like, full dining room, done, 18 seats,
wow,
ready to go. That's it. What we have. We're very fortunate we have an outdoor structure for right now, but 18 seats. We do. Hence why we do prefix and we do a set menu and that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, that's how Bird Dog that's why we chose Bird Dog in Manhattan.
And like you said, Will, what the concept kind of is that Southern meets Italian. Two most popular cuisines, the most comforting cuisine on the planet. You go to Italian food, you go to the noodles and the and that story of grandma that's sitting there, all day Sunday cooking the sauce, and everybody gets together. Then you throw in Southern food where it's the casseroles, and when there's an event and somebody shows up, your refrigerator is filled with 15 plates of green bean casserole and all those great things. Melding those together to create that warmth, especially after being grounded for 2 years, brings a community together. Many times we've seen people, you're sitting next to each other so close where you get the FOMO of, oh, I didn't order that pasta. And the neighbor at the table next to you says, well, here, taste, and it's not COVID protocol friendly or whatever, we want to put it, but you get to meet people and you get to have that family dinner table experience at a restaurant with cuisines that and things you don't expect together. Because when you get a crab linguine and Nashville style fried chicken on the same table, it doesn't always compute, but it makes sense in the overall. It's comfort food. It's things we know with a little twist, and it's putting families together, whether it be blood or chosen, in one place. And that's I think that kind of answers your question there of the why and the how is the food and that feeling of family, which I mean that's what all of us in this business do, no matter you're working for the biggest chains, the 5-star 43 Michelin star restaurants, whatever. It's what we do is we celebrate whatever the event is, whether it be Tuesday, whether it be a funeral, a wedding, a divorce, or whatever. We celebrate it with food, and this is the best way to do it with the Italian and Southern foods, grandma's house mentality.
God, man, I haven't eaten yet today, and I'm getting a little.
It's only about a 6-hour drive. We don't have a table ready for you. Don't worry about the reservation. I know the owner. I'll make it happen for you.
6-hour drive, man. I live just south of Charlotte in North Carolina. It's a haul, but I got to tell you, my step brother-in-law is up there. Young dude. He's up there in real estate, mid-20s, lives over in Brooklyn. And I've been kind of helping mentor him a little bit and stuff. So I think this is going to have to happen at some point here, guys. I got to get up there for sure. Oh my gosh, I would love all that food so much. Okay, let me ask you this. You mentioned, I know you mentioned that after a year you get some kitchen shoes. This
6
is
months actually.
After 6 months?
6 months, yeah.
Totally random question, but I'll tell you why here. But where do y'all typically get kitchen shoes? Like, are you using Crocs, or do you, like, what kind of shoes do they?
Whatever the employee wants.
Whatever the employee wants.
I just bring me a receipt and I'll pay it for it. That's how it is. Because what you like as shoes is different than what I like as shoes, and that's how it goes for me. Okay. And yet again, and the funny thing is, sometimes they're frugal, sometimes they're not. And but here's the thing: like the staff knows about it. It's written and they're told. Some have taken us up on it. So like one of the other things is we offer MTA cards, like for them to take the subway. Only 2 of my staff asked for it. Like I'm not gonna like. There's also yet again this like I'm not gonna give it away. Ask me for it, and maybe that's the wrong mentality, right? Maybe that's my old school. Be like, just ask for it and you can have it. Maybe that's the dad in me too. Like now it's like you gotta ask for it, but you can have whatever. You can have all the candy you want. Just ask me for the candy. I think that's also the business practice because I also just don't want to start giving $125 Metro cards or $100 shoes or whatever it is out to everyone. We do have to be fiscally responsible. But that's just the kind of thing. But all the kitchen staff has taken me. The cooks have taken me up on the shoe part that have been here for 6 months. Only 3 members of the staff take me up on the MTA cards. But yet again, it's there for them to have it. It's whenever they ask, we never say no. We just add it to their check, or I'll just go physically go buy it. I'll walk to the subway station myself and buy one, whatever they want, however they want to do it. So that's kind of like So the shoe part is, to answer your question, is whatever they want, they can have it.
Whatever they want. Well, the reason I'm asking is because we actually are sort of in a really early discussion with Crocs. I don't know where it'll go, but like they have a hospitality theme line of shoes that do y'all know that? Like, I guess you probably do. They specifically have ones that they built for hospitality. So I'm like, well, how about we, position those as something that our customers can get at some kind of a discount or something like that. And we've got 250,000 people we can tell about it. So
yeah,
I'm just curious if a lot of people were using Crocs. I had that conversation with Nike, and we did something with them a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. We were able to give a discount, but then it was a discount code, and one of our users put it out on Reddit, and Nike found it, and they're like, shut that down. So I'm trying to restart that conversation with Crocs. So I was just curious. We're hopefully
something would be interested in. You guys say, listen, you go buy a pair. Do I want a pair of Crocs? Never. I think they're ugly. I hate them. Not unless we're doing a Croc event, they put them on my feet and I gotta take them off right after the event's over. It's probably how you get me a pair of Crocs.
How you get you, yeah. Well, we're also
but like that's
trying to talk Vans as well. I'm working on.
I'm literally wearing a Vans. I'm wearing all Vans today. So like, if you do something with Vans, I will hop on that one in a heartbeat.
Yeah, that's one that's a little harder. We don't. We kind of had a connection at Crocs, but we're working on it. So I thought that might be the case. I figured you might be a Van. It seems like a lot of people are wearing Crocs and Vans when I ask around these days in kitchens and restaurants. So, okay, cool. Well, one more thing. Y'all use Pop Menu.
Yes.
Yep.
Tell me about it, because we're I like them. We got connected with them recently, and I had their CEO on the podcast actually talking about what they're doing and stuff, and they seem like they have a pretty cool product.
And their menu is on the customer, or as the not even as the restaurateur, but as a customer side, where I can go and place my orders and then go and rate the items. They call them pop. Where I can go in and say, this chicken was fantastic. And, it gives the ratings right there on the menu or through the website. So the other customers that come and see it can see it right there in real time. And it's, in my opinion, more realistic and more honest than some of the big review sites that we as restaurateurs absolutely despise. And I hate to mention them by name, but I don't open any of those review sites anymore just because it's, 1 star, 5 star, and because somebody sneezed in the building next to me, you get a 1 star.
Totally.
But the way Pop Menu does it with individual items, I can say that I love these hush puppies. The back end side for me as the tech guy in the restaurant, being able to update the menu is very simple. It's a great product for a beginner to intermediate website creator.
Yes.
And we look out having some guys that help us create the graphics and the design, and they know how to do all those fancy things. But for the end user, the starter, it's a great product.
Yeah, overall, I think it's a really good product. I would equate it to like a serviceable high-end Toyota. And here's the thing, because like the website, like the website design element, we'll talk about the things that we use. The website design element from them is somewhat basic, somewhat rudimentary. I was very adamant of how I wanted what our website to look like. I wanted that mauve, because yet again, we were about Granny and Nona. So I wanted that mauve, but I wanted like those old timey like illustrated pictures in it, like our font in it. I wanted to be broken up with the blue. So like, but even to get to where we were or where we are now has taken 7-8 months to get there. Like it's constantly like, okay, we need to work on this. Like if I want to like make a new page, it's not as simple as me like being able to drag and make the pages look similar. So there are some things, but yet again, they're growing and doing it. The menu side, like, as Chris talked about, really good. Like, if you're doing delivery or we call it at home with Bird Dog, works very well for what we're doing. It's one of the only ways besides Pasta Happy Hour you can get a la carte from us. And then the other thing is, and some of the other challenges, but as we're 18 seats, as we've said, so we are looking for other avenues for revenue. And one of the things for us is we're thinking about doing a pasta of the month club. So every month you get a pasta dinner for 4, all the rest, like I think like Blue Apron or Purple Carrot or one of those meal delivery home kits that you get our version of it once a month sent to you, all ready to go. Here's the pasta of the month. You cook it, let us know how it is. They don't have anything set up for that to where like, how can we capture like, my name's Will, I'm going to put my stuff in, but I want to send it to my brother, my cousin, and I want to do 3 1 months, but how do I send it to them? Because right now it's all through done. So it's things like that you have to like find the workarounds, and they're very good. The customer service, our customer service manager is really, really great. And actually I have a meeting with her after this podcast. So to have these things, same with our people with Square too. Like they've taken the easiest things and yet again, it's a smaller company. They've grown up. And the reason I found out is my friend from Seattle was like employee number 14 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so like, and now they're like 500, 600 something employees. So they all got soccer jerseys that and she had number 14. And she actually has a lower number than her boss, which is just really funny. So we went with them, but are they better than other companies? I don't know. I've never used Bento Box or some of the other ones out there, so I can't tell you. We are overall very happy with Pop Menu and how they integrate with who we are and the software we do. And as Chris mentioned, as what we've also learned here is also about like just the brand management. Our buddy Rev Sano and Andrew Lampak, they help us with the marketing side, and not so much like marketing to get new customers all the time, but really for customer retention. So we actually use like other software that really helps us out. One is Ovation, which helps us, if you've ever heard of these or you haven't, Ovation helps us get a true picture of what reviews are right then and there. What happens is the customer, we put this card at the end of the night with some chocolate and say, how do we do? And they scan this and there's 5 emojis they can choose from. And so if they had a good experience, they could choose the heart eyes, and they said they write a little review, or they may not write, they may heart eyes. But then what it does is says, if it's 4 or 5 stars, it says, you loved us, thanks. Can you go tell someone on Google or one of the other sites? If you get 3 or below, it comes to us, and it's called win back. And a message comes directly to us. Hey, Will did not have it. Will did 3 stars, blah, blah. And they write it. And what that does is actually stops. It helps them. You're less likely, because maybe you're a keyboard warrior and you're just like really hard and you're like, didn't enjoy your meal, but you've now gotten direct response to ownership or whoever's in there, and we can get you right back in there. Will, so sorry you didn't enjoy the XYZ. This is what we're doing. Come back on us. Here's this, that stuff. So then what it does is then stops you from going to Google or the other guys and putting around reviews. So that's helped us out, helps them manage those.
Gotcha.
From so because you're now able to get your frustrations out if you have one to us, and we use a marquee, which then helps us like SEO, and it really helps us with all the make sure all our information is correct. We really enjoy what we do with you with Schedulefly as part of our AFN scheduling. We for a while we were just on just text us what days you want to, but as our staff grows, we had to our first call was like, we're gonna go to Schedulefly, and we've used you forever. We love you guys.
Plus, I'll tell you before you go on that with the Schedulefly thing, the documents tab is phenomenal because we upload the front of house opening checklist. Everybody's responsible for the knowing what's on the checklist or the employee handbook. And if you hand somebody a handbook, it's going to sit on the shelf. It's never going to get. You never know what's going to happen. And even the documents may not get read, but because you have the feature of us being able to see, that Chris opened it, Will opened it, Brian opened it, and John opened it. Now we know that you're responsible for the information.
Yeah.
And it's a great tool. So the tech side of things, like with Pop Menu, the other companies Brian mentioned, and you guys, it's made running the restaurant 10 times easier. It makes things very simple. So we don't have to worry about those things. I don't have 17 text messages in 3 different group chats because I need time off for this, that, and the other. It's all in one place. Pop Menu has made it easy that we're able to, get to-go orders and delivery things and process payments and make things happen. Streamlining it, making those things easy so we can focus on chicken and service. It's fantastic.
My only issue with some of these is which we don't get with you all, is that what we need sometimes a human to talk to. AI and software fixes 98% of the problems and helps us out. But when AI and software mess up, they usually mess up pretty big, and I'm sure you could attest to that pretty well. But being able to get to the human part of it is great, and you always have had a great response. Because I think you're a bunch of I figure that I like to think the Navy SEALs is what the Schedulefly team is. You're a band of you're the tip of the spear. You're not just I don't have to schedule night to get to you. You are. We're talking to the owner of the company. We have direct communication with you, and you said you kept it. I don't want to use the word bare bones. You kept it streamlined to make it easy.
Sure. I mean, we have the same 5 guys that we've had for 15 years. I mean, we've never lost anybody. We've never picked anybody up. So, dude, I don't know what team number. We're like the graying version of the SEALs, But, dude, the fact that you just said that, I can't even tell you. Holy cow. That's like the coolest thing anybody has ever said about our business, man. As a fan of that. Oh, God. Dude, thank you. That's so reasonable. Oh, my God.
Oh, so we realize that tech helps us out a lot, but also and kind of what helps us out. But remember that human element is a big thing. And yet again, I think that goes we're here to do something new, grow with what the industry is growing with. But let's also remember there's humans humans who need to put in that code. There's humans who need to deal with humans, and that's what we enjoy working with you all about.
Love it, guys. Wow. I mean, I'm so glad we got to do this today. I have so thoroughly enjoyed this. I think anybody listening to this will as well, and will learn a lot. Man, this is really inspiring. I'm just thrilled. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the opportunity. I love what y'all are doing. I am going to get to New York sometime in the next less than a year. I've had multiple reasons to want to. This seals a deal. I'm there, and I'm coming to your spot, man.
And if you see any spots in Charlotte that need a bird dog, you let us know. We'll head down that way. Don't tell Chris, though, because Chris is another restaurant.
That's right. Well, look, I mean, heck yeah, man. Charlotte could definitely use what y'all are doing and the way you're doing it. There's no doubt about it. Charlotte has a real corporate, even it's just a different It's a corporate.
Yeah. I mean, my like well, I went to college at Johnson and Wales, but I went to when it was in Charleston, South Carolina, and then like about a year later they left and they all went to Charlotte. So I can only imagine that, like, yeah, you get the students, you get that, but I'm sure there is a little bit more of a bigger presence of restaurants than there are. I mean, you still have the independents and the small, but even them are probably a little bit bigger.
Well, I got to tell you that having that Johnson and Wales here in Charlotte has helped a ton, because you get a lot of folks coming out of there that are passionate and creative and doing different things. So it's actually helped our culinary scene like massively. I mean, we're so far behind Charleston, but catching up for sure. But yeah,
you all have better barbecue there in North Carolina than
we have some good barbecue. We do. I like Eastern North Carolina style. I'm like in the middle of the state, but I'm all about the vinegar. So all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you roll. Thoroughly enjoyed this. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate the business. Thank you for saying the coolest thing anybody's ever said, Brian. Chris, good. You said it's two weeks.
November 19th will be my Mirror Ball floor debut.
Where is it?
In Jersey City. So not too far from here. The studio that I'm part of, this is where they bring all their studios from around the country together and do this competition. So, you know, I'll get my shoes on and spin around the dance floor a little bit.
I'm going to make a note, man. I'll follow up in a couple of weeks and find out about it. That sounds awesome.
Perfect.
Good luck.
Well, thank you for your time.
Bye, guys. See y'all. Have a good one.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.